I want to welcome everyone that is here. My name is Aura Vasquez, and I am a community leader, an environmental justice activist, a community organizer, and I'm all things renewable energy. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to a conversation with David Kim, who is a former candidate for Congress here in Los Angeles. He's someone that I have so much admiration through his campaign, and as someone that also ran for office, has been that I have so much empathy and respect for the work that he's done. I think the two of us share the same interest about bringing up and uplifting the issues that affect people like us. Besos a todos. Gracias por estar acá. Um, Also, we understand the struggle, and as people that are part of the system, we want to make sure that you guys are involved, that you guys know what's going on, and that you guys can participate. Oftentimes, we complain that the system doesn't work for us, that things that don't go the way we want, that politics are terrible and are dirty. And in a lot of ways, I feel the same. And a way for me to balance that has been to get more involved and try to see how I can change the system. In my heart, sometimes I feel like we need to just completely abolish the system. But until we get there, I want to make sure that we are infiltrating the system. And in this case, as Democrats, that we can also shape, the party. So I'm requesting for David to join us. But this conversation is not just the two of us. I would love if you guys also participate and with your questions and your comments. So please join us in the comments and ask your questions and share your thoughts. So with no further ado, I want to welcome David Kim. Hi, David. How are you?
Hi, Oda. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I had a day of working, and I recently adopted a dog as well. So I've just been, it's been crazy, but I've been good. It's good to see you on here. Your day was good.
Yeah, my date is amazing. I'm actually traveling in Colombia. I'm visiting my family. So I'm calling you all the way from South America. And I'm like super excited. Technology, right? One of the things that is like positive about technology is that has the opportunity, like it give us the opportunity to stay connected, even across the world.
For sure.
So, yeah. So I had a conversation with you last week. We were talking about the role of delegates, and a lot of people that loves us and follow us. You just ran for Congress, and congratulations for
Thank you.
an amazing campaign, well run. I'm a big fan. And I ran for city council 2 years ago, and we both know how difficult that is. And as grassroots candidates and as people that really care about other people, that we don't have any personal gain going into politics, we understand how difficult it can be, to run for office. And in that process, we have learned some tricks. And one of them is, the delegate process. So I want to start by asking you, what do you think? Well, tell us first about you and share who you are, and then we'll dive in deeper. So whoever is watching, please feel free to share your questions in the comments.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me again, Aura. So for those who aren't aware, my name is David. Like Aura said, I recently ran for Congress. We didn't win, but we did really well. We got 49% without any corporate PAC money. Yeah, and so our district represented east as East LA Boyle Heights, north as Eagle Rock, west as Koreatown, south as the 10 freeway. And with that being said, although we lost this fight, I mean, in terms of the bigger context, the bigger picture, the reason why we're running for office is because we feel that electoral politics is one of the ways that we can affect change. And it's not just politics on the federal level, there's also politics on the city level. Like Aura, she ran for city council, and it's super important. We have new city council members that were just inaugurated last week. Amazing. But then also there's other electoral politics that a lot of us aren't aware of. And that's part of, for those here in California, more specifically because it is a Democratic Party majority state, is the Democratic Party. So how does that work, electoral politics? Are you saying, David, that you can run for something related to the Democratic Party in California? Yes. And you can vote for somebody too. But unfortunately, the candidate deadline did pass already, so you can't run. But if you are interested in running next time, please DM Aura and me, and we'll definitely keep you in the loop as to that process. But we're up on here just to share about why we're running to be an ADEMS. It's called ADEM Delegate, Assembly District Executive Meeting. And I can't believe I remember that. Delegate. And so with that being said, we're just here to talk about what that means. What does that look like? And then I know Aura will probably ask the questions about how many people, how many,
Yeah,
whatnot, and all of that. So
absolutely. I'm getting some messages here that people cannot hear me. So if you can hear me, put a little heart in the comments. I want to make sure that everybody can hear this conversation because it's really good. And if you also want to just get out of Instagram because you just don't want to watch us here, you can go ahead. You can go to Twitter. You can go to YouTube, to my YouTube channel. I'm also streaming on Facebook and on Twitch. So, Twitch is great because you can kind of browse and then also do other things on your phone. So if you feel like you don't want to be on Instagram and you can go to the other platforms. You can find the links to my other platforms in the comments, but I'm sorry, in the bio, but it's Aura Vasquez Official. So, yes, so let's talk about delegates and partly, the role of delegates in the Democratic Party. So, if you are a Democrat, do me a favor and just let me know in the comments. And maybe put a heart in the comments or a blue thing in the comments or a little vote box, whatever you want, a happy face. Just let me know if you're a Democrat. Because it's interesting to see how the Democratic Party kind of chooses the people that they support. We all remember what happened with Bernie and Hillary Clinton and Bernie and Joe Biden, where Bernie was coming super strong. We all love him. We knew that he was our candidate, that he was the candidate of the people, that he really cared for working class people, and that he was speaking out against corporations and corporate grid. And what happened? He didn't get the nomination. You guys remember this? So it's people like David and I that eventually vote for that to happen. At the local level, Bernie, just to give this example, won in California in 2020. The delegates voted for him. We all voted for him to be our endorsed candidate here from California. So delegates do so much, including, um, also set policies that the Democratic Party, follows, and also the Democratic platform. So we go to the convention, and it's very interesting process, and we get to vote for the platform of of the California Democratic Party. Is there anything else that you want to add to that list?
yeah, no, I think you covered it. I think just to add, it's for those who are frustrated in terms of where the Democratic Party is going on a national or state level. I mean, at least on the local level, you can go ahead and join your county Democratic Party, be a member,
Mhm.
talk to the
Mhm.
officers, because the officers are most likely also delegates and they have influence and say. So that is your degree of connection there. But then also on the state level, it's voting for and electing delegates. And so just like what Auda shared, there's a convention, Democratic State Convention each year, and delegates are all invited to attend those. We're able to go through policy issues and statements and vote on which issues and policies we want to focus on for the upcoming year as the Democratic Party. And then, so I feel like that's kind of one of the major roles. And then the second major role is endorsing. obviously an official like what Aura just shared, or blocking an endorsement. So incumbents here in California, they get an automatic endorsement from the California Democratic Party, no matter how good of a job or horrible of a job they do. And so
Yeah.
the yeah, and so the delegates have the power to block those if a certain number of signed delegate signatures from certain areas are turned in, and then from there there's a process where they can go all the way up to Democratic Party state convention. And so my experience, Auda, I actually did that process last year because I was trying to block my opponent's automatic endorsement. And given COVID, it's hard to get signatures, but yet the
Yeah.
Democratic Party is outdated and its physical signatures. And so I went and knocked and doorbelled every delegate that I could find. We got enough votes to pass the first round, so we blocked it. Then there was a second round, and then it's a different set of requirements with different number of delegates from Region 11, which is another thing. And then we were a couple over, so then we blocked that. And then we had another round where it's the round that's I think I might be conflating it to maybe there's a fourth one as well, but I feel that it was a fourth one where we went all the way up to the convention floor, but we couldn't muster enough votes for that, and so unfortunately we didn't make it. But then I believe Fatima and then less than a handful of other candidates made it to the floor, but then didn't get the vote on the floor
Yeah.
by the entire
Yeah.
state. So
And
it
and I
gets yeah.
I think you're illustrating an incredible example with your own experience about what happens and how important is the role of delegates
Hmm.
in the process.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people, I'm sure you have plenty of stories of people telling you, we need you. I hope you win. I hope you make it. We're tired of this, the same old politicians that don't do anything for us and are just out there.
Hmm.
But we cannot make it without also kind of learning how to be part of the system.
Yeah.
We
And
cannot abolish the system without being part of the system in a way.
yeah, so until we come to that abolishing state, we need to play it well better than they play it. So right now how it is even right now it's stacked so that incumbents are actually allowed to appoint their family and friends as delegates as well.
It's
Besides
terrible.
I know, besides
That's
these
that's
elected positions we're
terrible.
running for. Yeah, and so because of that, because they're able to appoint their own family and friends, that's what we kept on coming across as an obstacle because they try to stack it so that they're heavily favored on the incumbent side. And so this is why it's even more important for to really show out and turn out the vote for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the most undemocratic process of the Democratic Party. I just
It
want to
is.
get
It
that out of my
totally is.
chest.
Right.
Because if you are a registered Democrat, you have to jump a bunch of hoops in a very tiny period of time in order for you to have your vote counted.
Yeah.
So December 31st is a very important day. It's not just the end of the year. It's like it's also the day where you can request a ballot to vote for delegates.
Yeah. And I would just drop that link in there. So definitely register before December 31st. One of the experiences I had when I was trying to gather delegate signatures, I went to a few appointed delegates, not elected ones, appointed delegates by incumbents,
Mhm.
because I had a rapport with them. I had a relationship with them. I had a friendships with them. But some of them came back and said, "Hey, David, I can't sign that because the moment I sign it, then the person who appointed me will take my delegate position away. So I can't sign that." And so it's like, what the heck? Like, you can't even vote your own will? But yes, it's very undemocratic.
I know, and it's kind of sad because again, we take great pride that we're inclusive, that we're diverse, that we deeply care about people voting, and
Yeah,
I don't think we make it easy for anyone to vote. So
right.
I think it's so important that if you're listening right now, that you register yourself to vote. If you cannot vote for us, I don't care. It's fine. Register to vote because chances are that we know somebody that you need to vote for. That
Hmm.
we may be supporting other slates in other, in other assembly districts. So the way that the delegates get, assigned to whatever district is by their assembly member. And I want to take it a little back because I want to talk about redistricting and corruption in Los Angeles. And, we heard a lot of us, and maybe if you're not from California, that's okay, just follow along. But in California, a couple of months ago, we heard recordings of three elected officials
Mhm.
with racist comments, and also just trying to, like establish more power for themselves.
Mhm.
And that conversation was triggered through the redistricting process. They were trying to figure it out, like, okay, how we keep our jobs, how we keep more power for us.
Mhm.
And that process, we also got, like, I changed my whole district. Like, I'm not with my people anymore.
Mhm.
Like, I'm like in a whole other, area now, in another assembly district,
Yeah.
which I think is wonderful. But it also kind of moves you around and shakes you around districts. So I don't know what your process was. If you can tell us a little bit about the process that you went through the redistricting. And I know if you would have gone elected, as a Congress member, you would have had a huge, influence in that process.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, there is now that you said that, rumor has it that my opponent was heavily involved in the redistricting. So it's not a surprise that a lot of commentators have been saying, "Oh, if David's district was the old district, he would have won this time." And so in any case,
All
so
right.
redistricting is
Fatima.
very
Fatima
yeah,
too. Fatima
yeah,
got district out of her district. Like,
yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah.
So redistricting is very powerful. Yeah, I was originally in 8053. So for those of you who don't know, I live in between downtown and Koreatown in the Westlake area. So we were in originally 8053. Assembly member Miguel Santiago, um, and he's still the same assembly member, but now it's called 8054. And before we sort of had like a more congregated puzzle piece mass shape, but then now we're like, if you look at it, we've like been flattened, and so now we're horizontal. And so
Mm.
it's very weird. It goes from like Koreatown, Filipino town, downtown, like across to like City Terrace, and very interesting. Um, but yeah, I think with that being said, I am excited to run with other um, delegates who were in other districts, and now a couple of them are now in our district. And so, for those who aren't aware, there's about 80 assembly districts in the California state, and each of the districts gets to elect 14 elected delegates. And
That's
so,
a really important point. Yes.
yeah, so we're voting for that. And so again, I would have dropped a link in the chat or in the comments. Click on that because the deadline is December 31st, and then the actual voting date is January 17th. And you can choose to vote by mail or you can choose to vote by in person.
In
But
person.
note that you can only vote according to what you registered as. So check out that link and then make sure you click the right one, whether you prefer voting by mail or voting in person.
Yeah, that's another very undemocratic from the Democrats.
It is. It is. They're trying to find so many ways to disenfranchise people.
To making it
It's
hard.
crazy.
So, okay. So, how many people are registered to be delegates in your district right now?
That's a great question. I did not check it, Aura.
It's something important to check, friend, because the others, the establishment is really trying hard to pack the house with their friends and their
Right.
wives, you
Right.
know, and
Right.
their husbands and their partners. So, in my case, we are about, so it's 14 plus another 10, so we're 24, maybe more. You know
Right.
what? I think we're more. So yeah, so basically we're really competing. It's interesting to see. I see in the list of folks that are running for Assembly District 55, there's a lot of staffers, so people that work for my current
Got it.
assembly member, who is Isaac Bryan. He's a new assembly member, relatively. He's also, the district is, because it got redistricted, is a little new. 55 is
Mhm.
um is a new district. So something to keep in mind, because, like I said, I think In 2016, when Bernie ran the first time, a
Mhm.
lot of the Bernie crats or the Bernie, supporters ran for delegates because they were like, oh my God, the delegates is a thing. Like we're not even in the process. So they did a huge takeover
Mm.
of the Democratic, and that was kind of exciting. A lot of them,
Mm.
but it's hard to keep up. It's also not cheap to keep
Mhm.
to be, as you know this, it's not cheap to be a delegate. You
Mhm.
you have to pay for like to go to the convention and to go to the meetings and all that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about why people should care about
I would
us going to represent them.
Yeah, I actually checked before that it looks like we have 31 candidates.
Woo! You see, I think I have to what 31 too. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of people.
Yeah. So definitely there's another slate probably running against ours.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I can fairly say, and I'm not trying to be a hater, but I can fairly say that it's probably the staffers and the wives and the
Yeah.
and the other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, going to the issues that are important. I mean, just like what our campaign was communicating and championing was issues that really affect people right now because we're talking about not having any rights for our tenants and our unhoused residents. We're talking about um, being more inclusive with workforce, with development, really making CalCare a priority for the Democratic Party, both on the state and federal level. Why is it that both on the state and federal level, before getting elected, people are like,
Hmm.
Medicare for all, healthcare for all, but bam, when it's time to go vote, they stop tweeting about it, or they vote to not vote on it. And so other issues, whether it be queer justice, racial justice, economic justice, a huge thing for Los Angeles
Environmental
because
justice. Yeah.
yeah, and environmental justice because everything's just so interconnected in regards to how everything is sourced and how everything is also um, I guess restricted from kind of evolving as it should, and that's why people are scrunched into this three job daily grind and hustle, making ends meet and stuff. And so it's really about kind of gearing and moving the party onto issues that we care about and not what
Right.
they tout to be the issues that matter.
Absolutely. And so, okay, let's light up the conversation a little bit. Let's talk about what the
Okay.
positive things are, about running for delegate. Something that I love about being a delegate is that it gives me a seat at the table, and
Hmm.
and then my opinion and the people that I represent in my district certainly is also uh, in the matter.
Hmm.
So, for example, as an environmental justice organizer, for me, something that was really important is to curb the influence of dirty money in politics.
Hmm.
We have some clear issues, which is Citizens United, but we also have an incredible opportunity to curb, fossil fuel money, for example.
Hmm.
We shouldn't be taking, corporate fossil fuel money. And I introduced a motion to get the the Democrats, the California Democratic Party, to stop taking money from the fossil fuel industry. And guys, it was something.
Please
Um,
share.
well, first of all, they really hit me with all of their legalities and all of their Robert's rules. So, how do you conduct a meeting? Number one. And then number two, they never let us vote.
Mm.
They moved the president. This is another part that is interesting. We get to vote for the chair and the secretary and all those folks of the party. So the chair and the vice chair and the secretary were like, we need to start another committee to see if we really don't need to take fossil fuel money. I'm like, wait, what else do we need to do to tell you we don't need to take fossil fuel money? So they went on their committee, and after months, they came back and they were like, you know what? We're not going to take money from the fossil fuel industry. However, we're going to take money from utilities and from these fossil fuel money companies and from this. So it's basically a joke,
A
you know?
huge carve out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
lip service, so
exactly. So, I was pretty devastated after all, but it also the process also helped me understand, wow, even when I'm in there already, even when I'm involved, I'm still naive about how this works. And this
Mhm,
is why we need more of us elected.
mhm, mhm,
People that care, people that are going to be willing to ask the hard questions, people that are going to challenge the status quo, and people that are going to say, no more. I
mhm,
don't take this as an answer. And I think you and I share a little bit of that, that
mhm,
we're not going to that we're going to fight for what we believe is right,
mhm,
and that we're going to do it with compassion and with respect,
mhm,
and with care.
mhm,
So I'm also part of the legislative committee for our local Democratic Party,
mm,
and for like our regional. And I got to see lots of legislation,
mm,
before it came to the before it came to a bigger vote.
mhm,
So
mhm.
that's also something that I would love to continue fighting for everyone, and continue doing, for the party, as we find, a better place for us to a better party for us to go,
Mhm.
that is competitive in this moment in history.
Yeah, and I would definitely say what you stressed, I think, is the key highlight of these ADEM delegates are sort of your direct line to connection to the California State Democratic Party. So if you found that you've contacted them, reached out to their general email, but never get a contact back, ADEM delegates can help connect that too, and because they're really there to represent your district. And so I think that representative capacity is something that we tend to forget a lot, in addition to being kind of members deciding the policy and endorsements as well.
Yeah, totally. And so,
Yeah.
what are some of the things that you're hoping to accomplish when you get elected again as a delegate?
Yeah. So one of the things that I was kind of regretting, not regretting, I don't regret it, but what's the word? I wished I could have, but I don't regret it in the sense of checking off executive committee. So executive e-board is for those who then the delegate that receives the most number of votes in these ADEM elections. And I actually did not check it because I don't know. I felt like I didn't know too much about what e-board did, the significance, and what you did on the e-board body. But after now, kind of looking back, eBoard gives you sort of a closer look and a preview and kind of a more hands-on type of perspective on these issues before delegates vote on them. And so this time I did check um, eBoard because last time I was the one that received the most number in my district. But because I didn't check it, it went down to the second person. So this time I made sure I checked it.
Yes,
But
it's important, super
yeah.
important to be on the e-board, because as part of the executive committee, I'm on the e-board. I got
Hmm.
the most votes.
Hmm.
Um, I want to tell a little bit of an anecdote, but it's
Go
super
ahead.
personal, guys. It's super personal, and it needs to stay between us. But I ran against in 2020. I ran against Mark Riley Thomas, and he is a very powerful politician. In California, he's probably one of the most powerful African American politicians in Southern California. And running against such machine was a really hard thing for me to do. And as a first time candidate, was something that it was really hard. So I ran into it in March. I lost. We didn't get what we wanted. We learned so much. I was definitely like, wow, like there was so much about me that I didn't know I could do. And so at the end of that year, at the end of 2020, we in the middle of the pandemic. It's crazy. It's like the world is gonna end. And somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're gonna run a slate for for delegates, and we would love if you join us." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I'm kind of like learning about it. I joined them, and I believe that the way you do one thing, you do everything. So I went super hard with them, like all hands on deck. And they keep saying like, Aura, you're gonna get so many votes because you so many people follow you. I'm like, guys, my assembly district is not the same as my city council district. This is before the redistricting. So it was like a weird, I used to be in Richard Bloom's district, which is Santa
Mm.
Monica, like a whole other place.
Mhm.
I was like, no, it's different. But I still give it all I got. And I remember setting a prayer and saying, the universe out there, the higher power, if this is really for me, is gonna work out, because I started feeling very hopeless because
Mm.
people don't really care about the delegates, and and I think it's because they don't know much about it.
Mm.
So I was like, just send me a sign if this is really my path, because I felt like maybe politics wasn't my path. Maybe like
Mm.
I was fighting too much of a fight. And you and I talked about this. We're like good people, and good
Mhm.
people don't get elected, So I was really, I was feeling very discouraged at that moment. And then the results came, and I wasn't even looking. I was like, I don't even want to know. If I make it, I make it. If I don't make it, it's gonna be embarrassing. But I don't care. And I keep getting I started getting texts like, wow, Aura, this is amazing, congratulations. So I was like, okay, I made it to be a delegate, yay. They're like, no, you're like the Ebor, like you got the most votes. And I'm like, what? So I go online and I checked, and I remember the woman that was after me, which I love, Tamara. She's an she runs the Democrats HQ, the grassroots Democrats HQ, in Santa Monica. And she called me and she goes like, you know what, Aura? I'm so happy that you won, and you won by so many votes that nobody can come here and say anything. Like, you like did it. And I was like, oh my God, so it was just like incredible to me. And I feel like that was a sign. That was, to
Mhm.
me, at that moment, was a sign that I needed to stay engaged, and that as hard as it was, and as much as slaps in the face we got, that this was the way that I needed to continue fighting, and that
Mhm.
I needed to, that my voice was important, and that who I was fighting for was super
Mhm.
important. And yes, you don't get to win all of them, all of this stuff, but at least it felt to me that, even the Democrats wanted me. I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
Like, so that's my little personal kind of like a spiritual anecdote about being a delegate, and how this whole thing happened for me. I really didn't had a lot of faith, but.
Yeah. No, for sure. No, that's a great example of you never know what can happen, and especially when your message resounds with people, then of course they're going to show up, of course they're going to turn out. And so I think that's what we tend to forget a lot of, hey, who would listen to my voice? Who would listen to the voice that I have, that I'm kind of voicing because I've heard it from other people, and a lot of people will. It's just we need to voice it ourselves and stand up. And so that's a great example. Yeah, so for those who are wondering what we're talking about ADEM election is coming up in January 17, but you cannot vote if you don't register to vote for mail or in person, and you can do that by December 31st.
Yes, and there's a link in bio, and there's a link on David. I'm sure you have a link in your bio
I
too.
do, yes.
Be heavily posted in my stories. So eventually, these links maybe take us to different websites, but it will take us again to the same place, which is the California Democratic Party website. And you have to request a ballot, and it's super easy, guys. It's like, don't wait anymore. Don't come. Don't make me come get you. Just just get it out of the way, and support. And oh, it's Nikki. Hi, Nikki. Get it out of the way. Support, in and make sure that you have a voice in the Democratic Party looking out for you. And if you, hi, love you back. And
Love
if
you
you
more.
are and if you are not in our district, so you're like, oh shit, oh oops, oh wow, like, you are in another whole other district, it's fine, send us a message. The incredible opportunity that you have right now is to get involved and to get empowered when you vote, And when you're engaged, you empower.
Mm.
So we can tell you, like, we can find out other friends that are progressives that are running, and we can make sure that you vote for somebody amazing, whatever you are. And this is happening
Mm.
all over California. So if
Mhm.
you are in Orange County and you're watching, or if you are in San Diego and you're watching this thing, or if you're in San Francisco, order your ballot, like request your ballot today.
That was a great please. Wow, you got me. I was like, okay. Yeah.
Trying to get people somehow here. But yeah, what are other ways that people can help us, with this election right now? Because we're in like crunch time. We only have like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really just a matter of word, spreading the word. You would wonder, oh, why have I never heard of this before? Because the party does not advertise this at all, because they want to keep the system within the system. And the more that people know, then the more opportunity for people to, I'm going to use your word, to infiltrate the system. And so that's
Yeah.
why not a lot of people know. So if you're hearing about this and you're wondering, oh, how can I help? Even if I don't live in their district, I would say go ahead and post the links, the ademelections.com link in Aura's bio and my bio, and just share that on your own social media and say, hey, everyone, December 31st, deadline to register to vote. If you don't register, you can't vote next month. So,
Right. I'm voting for this person, and this is why I'm doing it.
exactly.
Something that is going to be priority for me when I get elected again as a delegate is, again, I'm back with campaign reform, because a lot of people, good people like us, cannot afford to run for office. So,
Hmm.
I want to see real campaign finance reform.
Hmm.
So the Democrats, Medicare for all, can we please?
Yes,
Can we
please.
please? We please get into Medicare for all. Now,
No.
we have, and you have Nikki here, who is probably the expert in your team, has worked so much on this, on treating our in-house neighbors and community with compassion and with real solutions. Not
Hmm.
just like go to this corner and then go to that corner and then I don't want to see you again. This is not a
Hmm.
real solution. A big part for me this next cycle is going to be housing, and how we're going to
Hmm.
make housing affordable. And
Hmm.
that, again, campaign finance reform is important. In Los Angeles, developers have huge influence in our political process, and we need more affordable housing.
Hmm.
you know Los Angeles is the fourth most expensive city in the world
Hmm.
today.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know how my friends are making it. I don't know
Hmm.
how I'm making it sometimes.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's very important. And in regards to um, kind of housing where it's at, it's not just kind of, I mean, hopefully we can see where the mayor goes in terms of talking about Los Angeles as a locality and declaring homelessness as an emergency. What does that mean and look like? But then if we're not talking about this bigger question also of, it's, yes, we're talking about the immediate things that we need to address instantly off the bat, with getting people housed. But then on the long term, if we're not talking about, hey, currently we have a condition where a $1.2 million condo right now could in 5 7 years be worth 2.2 million. And if we don't see that as a problem, then why are you in office? Why aren't you
Right.
talking about that? Because I think we've been so tired. I think the reason why a lot of people have been jaded with politics is it's always on the defensive. We're never on the offensive, preventing, looking ahead, carving out a future and a beautiful world that we can live in. But it's always kind of addressing things as they come, as they become huge problems, without doing it before the fact. And so I think this is definitely one of the ways we can help, kind of steer the party in a way towards a certain direction. And it really depends on what delegates are elected, which delegates are elected, and how much effort they do put in. Because you can be elected as a delegate and put in the bare minimum, as opposed to really doing what I think one of our viewers, Legend of Zumazak, had said in terms of Howard Dean being an outsider, and then he joined and ended up being national chair and to
Yeah.
control. So I think, yeah, there's so many different ways that we can really try to change things, and this is just one of those ways.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So don't forget, join our movement to make the California Democratic Party better. I don't know if you guys know this fun fact. I've been meaning to create a video for this. The California Democratic Party is the largest in the country. One in every three Democrats live in California. How crazy is that?
Hmm, that's a lot.
Yeah. So what we do here has like significant weight from all
Mm-hmm.
over, the country.
Mm-hmm.
So help more people like us get elected, get help more people that care, that are here to do the work and that have fresh ideas, that we have progressive ideas. I'm a little worried about using progressive now because so many progressives out there
Yeah,
that are not
indeed.
progressive, you
Indeed.
know. So are you gonna trust your new dog? So we
So
know when is he gonna go canvassing with you soon?
I don't know. I was just wondering where he was going. Tata, come over here. Tata, here. Come over here.
In the meantime, guys, please go to the link in the bio, register, get your ballot, and get it out of the way. And look, this is our most recent voter. Look at this cutie. What is his name or her name?
his name is Tata, and I
Oh,
rescued him from the dog pound last Friday.
that is
Um,
so cute. Tata,
yeah.
what's up?
What's
You need to
up?
give you need to put a little like David Kim for the
Yeah.
people little
Yeah.
vest.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm ordering that right now. So, or
Yes,
I'll get
yes,
started
yes,
on that.
yes, 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 yes. Okay, anybody has any questions in the comments? Come on, guys, you guys been quiet. I like it. I like it. Any questions? Super easy. You must request a ballot to vote. David Kim for the canines. There you go. There's your slogan.
Yeah.
Um, you must request a ballot in order to vote. This is not something that's gonna come knocking. We're going to have to show people that we care and that we're involved. It's free. Just go on the link in the bio, go on the link here, order your ballot.
Do it.
Yeah. And then if you're in what's your assembly district again?
8054.
AD 54. Mine is AD 55. So let's go and let's make this happen.
Yo, I see a question. David, are you ready for CA34 in 2024?
Woo!
Right now, I'm gonna spend some time with Tata, who you just saw. All right. But thank you so much for having me on here. Do please go to her bio, my bio. You can click on the link before December 31st.
Absolutely. Well, I hope everybody got some cute, good intel now, some good information, and got excited and ready to be part of the process. Thank you, David, so much for joining us tonight. Don't forget, guys, December 31st is the day when you are going to be able to be amazing because that's the last day where you can register to get a ballot to vote for delegates for the Democratic Party. And we need
Yes.
you. We need you because
Yes.
we need more people like us in office and also in these spaces so they can keep an eye on certain things out there. Absolutely. Help us reach more people. Just share this message, share with your contacts. You never know who's out there. And if you want to donate, you can donate too. You can go to the link in my bio and donate. I'm sure they can donate to you too. It's still to your committee or something like that, David.
Um, I will need to check in with our slate, but yes, you
Yeah.
can. But in
Check
terms
with
of
check with
details for
your
us,
slate because we are taking any penny we can. We're gonna do a texting program, so if you get that text from me, just send it around. All right, friends.
all
Any last
right.
words, David? You're good.
No, I'm good. Just get out the vote, register to vote, spread the word, share on your social media profile, and please take care of yourself. Do an act of kindness, give yourself grace, give yourself lots of grace on just a
Yes,
regular basis.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes. Self love. All right,
All
David,
right.
thank you so much. Have a great night.
You too. Thank you, Aura. Bye,
Bye. Bye
everyone.
bye. All right, friends. That was David Kim. How wonderful that we got to speak to him tonight. Don't forget, go to the link in my bio, get to be amazing, get to make my night or make some other amazing delegates night. I hope that you get in touch. And of course, I hope that you get involved. Thank you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.